Toby is a tram engine. He has cow catchers and side plates and doesn't look like a steam engine at all. He takes cars from farms and villages to the main line and is cheerful to everyone he meets. He has a coach named Henrietta who has seen better days. "It's not fair at all," she grumbled, remembering how she used to be full, and 9 cars would rattle behind her. Now there are only 4, for the farms and factories send their goods mostly by truck. Toby is always careful. The cars, buses, and trucks often have accidents. Toby hasn't had an accident for years, but the buses are crowded and Henrietta is empty. A lady and a stout gentleman stood on Toby's platform. He was, of course, Sir Topham Hatt, but Toby didn't know this yet. "Come on, grandfather," cried the children. "Do look at this engine." "That's a tram engine, Stephen," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Is it electric?" asked Bridget. "Whoosh!" hissed Toby. "Shh!" said her brother. "You've offended him." "But trams are electric, aren't they?" "They are mostly, but this is a steam tram." "May we go in it, grandfather, please?" "Stop!" said Sir Topham Hatt to the conductor. They all scrambled into Henrietta. "Hip hip hooray!" chanted Henrietta. But Toby didn't sing. "Electric indeed, electric indeed," he snorted. He was proud of being a steam train. "What is your name?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. "Toby, sir." "Thank you, Toby, for a very nice ride." "Thank you, sir," said Toby. He felt better now. This gentleman, he thought, is a gentleman who knows how to speak to engines. The children came every day for 2 weeks. Sometimes they rode with the conductor, sometimes in empty cars. On the last day of all, the driver invited them into his cab. All were sorry when they had to go away. And Sir Topham Hatt and his family thanked everyone. "Come again soon," replied Toby. We will," cried the children. And they waved till Toby was out of sight. Months passed. Toby had few cars and fewer passengers. "Our last day, old boy," said Toby's driver one morning. "The manager says we must close tomorrow." That day, everyone wanted the chance of a last ride. The passengers joked and sang, but Toby and his driver wished they wouldn't. "Goodbye, Toby," said the passengers afterwards. "We're sorry your line is closing down." "So am I," said Toby. Nobody wants me, Toby thought, and went unhappily to sleep. Next morning, the shed was flung open, and old Toby woke with a start to see his driver waving a piece of paper at him. "Wake up, Toby!" he shouted excitedly. "The mail has just arrived, and there is a letter for us from the stout gentleman. Maybe it's good news!" There's a line to a quarry at the end of Thomas's branch. It goes for some distance along the road. Thomas was always very careful to whistle here in case anyone was coming. Early one morning, a large policeman was sitting close to the line. Thomas liked policemen. He had been a great friend to the officer who had just retired. "Beep beep," he whistled. "Good morning." Thomas expected that the new officer would be friendly too, but he was sorry to see that he didn't look friendly at all. He was red in the face and very cross. "Disgraceful," he spluttered. "I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was so quiet, and now engines come whistling suddenly behind me." "I'm sorry, sir," said Thomas. "I only said good morning." The policeman pointed to Thomas. "Where's your cowcatcher?" he asked. "But I don't catch cows, sir." "Don't be funny," snapped the policeman. He looked at Thomas's wheels. "No side plates either," and he wrote in his notebook. "Engines going on public roads must have their wheels covered and a cowcatcher in front to protect people and animals from being dragged under the wheels if they stray onto the line. You haven't, so you are dangerous." "Rubbish," said Thomas's driver. "We've been along here hundreds of times and never had an accident." "That makes it worse," the policeman answered. He wrote "regular lawbreaker" in his book. Thomas puffed sadly away. Sir Topham Hatt was eating breakfast. He was having toast and marmalade. The butler came in. "Excuse me, sir. You are wanted on the telephone." "Bother that telephone," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I'm sorry, my dear," he said to his wife. "Thomas is in trouble with the police, and I must go at once." At the station, Thomas's driver told Sir Topham Hatt what had happened. "Dangerous to the public indeed. We'll see about that." Sir Topham Hatt spoke to the policeman. But however much he argued with him, it was no good. "The law is the law," he said, "and we can't change it." Sir Topham Hatt felt exhausted. "I'm sorry, driver," he said. "It's no use arguing with policemen. We'll have to make those cowcatcher things for Thomas, I suppose." "Everyone will laugh, sir," said Thomas. "They'll say I look like a tram." Sir Topham Hatt stared. Then he laughed. "Well done, Thomas! Why didn't I think of it before? We need a tram engine!" "When I was on my holiday, I met a nice little engine called Toby. He takes freight cars from the farms, but the trucks are taking over most of his work and he needs a change. He has cow catchers and side plates. I'll write to his superintendent at once." A few days later, Toby arrived. "That's a good engine," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I see you brought your coach, Henrietta." "You don't mind, do you, sir?" said Toby. "The station master wanted to use her as a hen house, and that would never do." "No, indeed," said Sir Topham Hatt. "We couldn't allow that." Toby made the silly cars behave even better than Thomas did. "Hey, you!" At first Thomas was jealous, but he was so pleased when Toby rang his bell and frightened the policeman. They've been firm friends ever since.